it's Matty coming at you with another Final Fantasy episode. Thank you for joining me, welcome to the video, and thank you for coming back to this Final Fantasy series that I keep dipping in and out of every couple of months or so. Not gonna lie, keep forgetting about it, keep being too busy on Planet Coaster, but what can you do? We're back today, and today we are going for the last dungeon before we hit level 50, Allman Vale. So here we go. Let's get straight into this dungeon. So, for today's dungeon, I'm going as a Bard, which is a ranged DPS. Now, I loathe Bard. Not in the same kind of sense that I don't really like, say, Scholar or Monk or something like that, in ways that I don't necessarily understand it. More in ways that I just don't like the job. I don't like Bard. I don't like what it is. I think it's very boring job. I don't know, because when I very first started the game, when I kind of back in 2013 day one launch, I actually started as a Bard and I actually quite enjoyed it, and I enjoyed a Realm Reborn Bard. But then as the game cycle has gone on and on and on, I've just kind of become less of a fan of it, and now I just can't stand it. So apologies to any Bard players. If Bard is your main, that's up to you. Everyone likes different jobs, but Bard is not for me, I'm afraid. But here we are. We're at the infamous Allman Vale, the dungeon that everybody hates, except for me. I actually quite like this dungeon, I'm not gonna lie. I like this first room. I like the fact that sometimes you can pull way more than you meant to, and it's like proper squeaky bum time if you're actually going to survive or not. I just quite like it. I think it's a bit different. You've got a lot of skills now at this point as well, so you are now getting more powerful. You're getting more skills to use, unless you're a Bard where you've just got 2 AoEs only. Whatever. So this first room, basically just kill the enemies in here and then you go straight into the boss straight away. I quite like the compactness of this first bit, how you just come straight into this first room and then you're straight on the first boss instantly. Yeah, I quite like that personally. But I guess I should be, instead of knocking Bard, I guess I should actually be saying what Bard actually does. So obviously Bard uses a bow and arrow, as you can quite clearly see, and a Bard also sings as well, so it's got a mixture of songs that you rotate through, and when you're doing the songs it gives differing buffs to the party. So I think there's one that gives increased critical hits, there's one that increases evasion, I don't know, I can't remember, I don't know, there's something like that. I don't know, whatever. But you're wanting to play the songs most of the time anyway. I'm not sure why I'm not playing them now. I think I was actually kind of like intentionally holding out the songs until we got into the first boss, if honest, which is in here. So this is quite a famous boss for Final Fantasy. Tends to appear in quite a lot of Final Fantasies. I'm actually replaying Final Fantasy 1 at the moment on my phone, the pixelated remaster, and this enemy appears in that. So yeah, quite a synonymous boss with the Final Fantasy lore, and as per usual it's a bit of a pain as well. Keeps casting, it's not poison, it casts this gold lung on you and it puts a buff on you, and it's just like kind of a constant damage down. You're just constantly taking damage when you've got this buff on you, and the buff stacks. So once you start getting to like 3 stacks, you want to start eating some of the morbol fruits to cure yourself, otherwise you are going to die, because the healer probably won't be able to keep up with the healing. So, we're just coming to the end of the boss now. Now, the last time that I just spoke, what, 30 seconds ago? You were all here. You heard me like 30 seconds ago. Between that lot of filming and now this voicing, there's been about a month's gap. I told you, I keep forgetting about this series. I can't help it. It's just one of them things, I keep forgetting about it. But I am going to plough through, I'm going to finish voicing this dungeon. And I've also got another dungeon that I recorded well over a month ago. Can't remember what happened in it. I can't even remember what class I went. But I'm going to voice that today as well. So, right. So, Sunday, here we go. You've got a new Final Fantasy video. Next Sunday, there's going to be another Final Fantasy video. Watch this space. I bet you're all now putting bets on the fact that I don't release it because I forget about it again. Yeah, to be honest, it'd probably be a safe bet. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, let's carry on with this dungeon. Let's not carry on knocking Bard, despite the fact that it sucks. Ugh. So what else have we got in this dungeon then? So we've got a Paladin, a Scholar, and a Ninja. So Paladin, I don't believe we've done Paladin yet in this series, have we? Scholar, of course, we did that. Ninja, I've also not done that. Ninja's not a bad job. I quite like Ninja, albeit the fact that I don't understand it. I have not played Ninja much at all. Not going to lie. Barely touched it. Oh, is there any marbles? Yes, there is. There's a marble. So, a running joke within my free company is that I am a marble minion collector. And I've got a retainer that has 120 marble minions in it. So, yeah. They're worth absolutely nothing. I don't know why that started. I don't know where this marble minion thing started. I think it was just a little bit of a joke at some point that one of the members of the free company sent me a marble minion. And everyone was like, oh, that's really funny. And then everyone started doing it. And I'll be off Final Fantasy for, what, maybe a couple of weeks. I'll come back, I'll look at my Mog Mail. I've got loads of minions in there again. So, thanks for that. But we come out to that first boss anyway. We run into this cavern here. And it's very similar to the first boss. We come into this cavern here with a couple of enemies, and then we run straight into the second boss again, which is quite cool. I don't understand why people don't like this dungeon, I'm not going to lie. I don't actually get it. There's such a stigma around Allman Vale. It is just the dungeon that everyone hates. And I don't actually know why. I think it might just be that first room. I think people hate that first room because so many people have wiped in the first room, especially when you have new people as well. But we had a new tank this run, and he did amazing. He did a fantastic job. We had no squeaky bump times at all. Didn't even come close to dying. But let's AoE these down with my hold 2 moves. Look at me go. Spam the same button. Woohoo! Fun times. I think the Bard gets another AoE like at a later level, I think. I'm not sure, I can't remember. I did get this to 80, but I got it to 80 and then never touched it again. So I believe this is the first time I've played Bard since hitting level 80, which was 6 months ago. So, but here we are, second boss. This boss makes me laugh, because this boss isn't especially difficult. He does some strange AoEs around the arena, but it's not particularly difficult. But Square Enix felt that it may have been a little bit too difficult. So, not long ago, I mean, you're talking within the last 12 months, bearing in mind this dungeon is 6 years old, but in the last few months, they updated this dungeon so it shows the AoEs all over the floor. Whereas before, you had to actually watch the boss to see what he was doing. And for me personally, I think that's a good introduction for stuff that comes in later. I think it's good to start learning, watching what the boss does, watching the cast bar, because that is stuff that you are going to need to know later in the game. Especially when you start getting to some of the extreme trials, and if you ever do attempt to do Savage, you need to start watching these bosses and watching their cast bars to see what is coming next and anticipate what the next move will be to start moving appropriately. And this boss was a really good introduction into that, because it wasn't overly difficult, but clearly people had complained that it was too hard, so they changed it and put big AoEs all over the floor. Don't stand here. So, yeah. If you got caught in that glower, it's an absolute pain, because it just puts a big debuff on you, makes you slow, you take a load of damage. I almost said a bad word then. Oh, I would have had to have re-recorded that. No bad language on this channel. This channel needs to be suitable for everybody. But, yeah. So, almost done. Not far off. Tank is needing a bit of a heal there, Mr. Healer. Or Miss Healer. What I do love about this game is there is such a big range of people that play this game. There is so many female players of this game, probably more so than any other game that I'm familiar with, actually, and it's really nice that, and you've got like people from all around the world and everything, so many different nationalities play. I believe it's like 14 million players now that play Final Fantasy. I think it's more than World of Warcraft at its peak, I believe. I might be wrong in saying that, before I get any angry comments down below. Actually, Matty, World of Warcraft reached 20 million players at its highest point. I don't know. I don't know the actual statistics. I could look them up for research of the video, but I don't want to. But yeah, I believe like it's 14 million players now that play this game, so it's a big game. And it's also now officially, since the last piece of recording that I did a month ago to this piece of recording, in this last month it was actually announced that Final Fantasy XIV is the most successful Final Fantasy game in its history. So, yeah. Stats for you. Because who doesn't love stats and statistics? So, let's carry on running around here. Just clearing out these mobs as we run around. There's a room that we go into in a second that I love. It's an awesome little room. It has 2 marbles in there and then loads of little baby marbles that you all have to kill as quick as possible. I like that room. But we just need to kill these ones first. So again, just spamming my 2 little AoEs. If people are watching this and saying, or thinking, Matty, you're playing Bard wrong, yeah, you're probably right. I know. Matty, you probably enjoy Bard more if you played it right. Again, you are most likely correct. I hold my hands up and admit that. Here we go. Look at this room. Look how little... Oh, look at all them little baby marbles. They're so cute. I love marbles. They're ace. Again, another boss so synonymous with Final Fantasy. I mean, marbles have been in for... I mean, what? They weren't in Final Fantasy 1. I don't know what Final Fantasy they actually came into it. Maybe 2 or 3 or something, but so synonymous with Final Fantasy. Even a lot of non-Final Fantasy players would be able to see a marble and recognise that that was a Final Fantasy boss. Always poisons you. Always does bad breath, which poisons you. Puts so many different debuffs on you. Don't stand in the bad breath. Really bad idea. Well, just nuking this guy down. We've got one little area to go through before we reach the final boss. So just reaching this last mob of enemies here before moving into the final boss room. And then the next dungeon, we finally reached the level 50 dungeons. So we can start working through the Realm Reborn 50 dungeons, which there are quite a few. Haven't counted them, but I think there's probably about 10, 12, something like that. But the dungeons start getting a lot quicker at that point because you just speedrun them. Albeit I say that, but the next dungeon run we didn't speedrun. So the next dungeon is Wanderer's Palace, which generally you have to speedrun because you have this giant... Oh, what are they called? Oh, I can't even remember what they're called. Like... The name's gone. My mind's a blank. Can't remember. You'll remember when you see him. But we have one of them chasing us the entire dungeon. Oh, shush, my heat cutscene. Carry on. So the next dungeon is a level 50 dungeon. You normally speedrun it, but we didn't because we had a couple of new people, which again is fine. But let's just nuke this last boss down. So very, very similar to the first boss. Oh, I say very similar. It's basically identical. It does exactly the same things. It does a room-wide AoE that puts debuffs on you that stack. Oh, the tank's done in a bad breath. Look at all them debuffs. Silenced, darkness, slow, poison. Basically every debuff you can imagine. But again, we're having these debuffs that are just stacking on us, so you just have to eat the mobile fruit to get rid of them. Otherwise you take a load of damage and the healer can't keep up. And it's now just nuking this guy down until he's dead. We have a little fun bit here coming up. So he goes to one little area and we'll spawn loads of little eggs all around him. And it's just fun to see how quick he can kill the eggs. Boom, done. No messing about that. Pretty much one-shotted between me and the ninja there. So that was fun. So what am I on? 1 stack at the minute. Honestly, I can't actually remember what happened in this dungeon. I genuinely can't. This is as much as a surprise for me as it is for you. It's that long ago since I did it. So 2 stacks, let's eat a fruit. Get rid of that. What are we on? 35% left. Nuke him! Shoot her! Shoot her! Come on. 26%. Almost there. Come on, let's do it. Oh, let's just randomly just roll on some loot in the mid-dungeon, because why not? Mid-boss. Multitasking. There we go. So 2 stacks I could do with going eat a fruit in a second, but I want to kill these eggs first. That'll be way more fun. So destroy the eggs! Oh, that wasn't as quick as last time. I was slacking then. Right, is the ninja going to use its limit break? I can't remember if the ninja does or not. I can't remember. Yes, they do! Nice. So 2% left. And there we go! Dungeon done! That wasn't too bad at all. So, thank you ever so much for joining me on this Allman Vale run. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Stay safe, look after yourselves. Goodbye, everybody.